This video is going to show you a solo Grandmaster Nightfall getting platinum rank on a Titan. Go to the Missile Striker Titan with the exotic fusion rifle Jotunn, the heavy linear fusion threaded needle, and Biting Wind's explosive payload kinetic bow. With a protective light setup, utilising take and charge and shield break charge. So with this first section, I ended up playing way more aggressive than what you need to. But you can see their protective light and shield break charge saved our life. But really you don't need to do what I just done. All you need to do is just come over to this location here. And then you can take champion and the phalanx for safety. Since there's two arc shields at the beginning, we don't have an arc weapon on, of course, right? I've got a void linear on, which I do recommend you put on, as it sort of avoids wipes at the wizard section at the near the end. I would recommend still using a void weapon, as there's only 3 arc shields in the entire thing. So at the very beginning, this is the only issue that you really have, is these 2 arc shields. The third arc shield, phalanx, we use a super for. So again, it just pays, just use a void. I would rather just use a void linear, but I could have used an arc linear. Just it would have made the wizard a little bit more dangerous, which you'll see when we get to that. So now that we've dealt with the champion and the 2 phalanxes, I come over to this lorry thing, whatever this is. The reason why I come here is it baits out the orange bar phalanx from the blight. It means you can actually do some damage to him. The scions cannot hurt you from here, really. The scions can be deadly, of course, and we don't have any arc resistance on. My resistance on my chest plate was concussive dampener sniper damage resistant. That's where I went. Just because my exotic chest plate, the Fallen Star, I only have an arc one. I only have a good arc one, so I didn't want to change it to solar, because ideally I would like to run solar damage resistance and concussive dampener, but this concussive dampener sniper resistance works well. We're just taking the signs from this location here, as you can't really damage you so much. You got cover from the blight and the cover to your left. It just makes them easier to deal with. It is tempting to use your melee ability on them. I will be careful on using it. Okay. I have done a run where I've went to do that and wipe off scions, just trying to get you know, the death from above melee ability going on it. I wouldn't recommend doing it, really, unless there's maybe 1 or 2 do it. If there's like 6, they could kill you mid-air. That's how quick they can kill you. So the same as the other run with the warlock, we're not going to take down the blights. So if you still don't know about this strategy, essentially do not shoot the blights. You just need to deal with the unstoppables. This will stop all the solar captains spawning, all the overloads. Well, not all of them, but most of them. Okay, so doing it this way is just easier. Better for ammo, better for all that stuff. As I said, we're using the exotic fusion, not Telestor, sorry, but Jotunn. A Telestor run will be good as well. But I decided on doing a Jotunn run because there's a lot of solar shields. Now Jotunn does like a solar area of effect damage, right? That damage is counted as unstoppable. You'll see a couple of times I'll hit the champion maybe too soon, and you think, oh, he's not going to stop, and then the solar effect eventually stops the unstoppable. It's a really good fusion rifle. It works out really good for this because it's got shield disorient. That's one of its perks, and that perk blinds enemies when you break a shield, when you break a solar shield. That is ideal. This weapon is one of the best weapons for solar knights, hands down, because of shield disorient. There is a solar fusion rifle you can get. I believe it's Timeline's Vertex. That's solar and that has shield disorient. So if you have a god rolled one of those tucked away, you will probably do well with that fusion. The only problem is that fusion's not going to do good at the boss. Not the way I end up doing the boss. This is another reason why we chose the Jotunn, because it's a range fusion. It has no range drop off. Right? One of the most powerful exotics in the game ever made. Now I was playing too aggressive here. I was very lucky to survive that. Generally I don't play that aggressive. The better approach would be just to, as I say, take these unstoppables lower. some damage to the phalanx. Other mods that we had on was particle deconstruction, bomber. Every time we use our class ability energy, we get great energy, which is really nice. Our resilience was tier 3 minimum, I believe. Having a higher resilience wouldn't be a bad thing in this. Tier 4 or 5 isn't so bad, but as I said, it's not required. I'm doing it comfortably, and this GM isn't tough. Now we'll do the Blights in reverse order, like I stated earlier. We'll take this one first. Use your pulse nade on Blights. The pulse nade does a lot of damage to Blights, and these Blights take a long time. Especially with a bow, you're best off just meleeing it. Your melee does more damage than what a bow does to a Blight. That's why I'm using my melee. Don't sparrow in the taken energy, right? If you do that, your sparrow exploding will kill you. So just be very careful. The taken stuff will disappear once you take out the second Blight. Finish off this second Blight, and then we'll go to the last one. Also be sure to be checking your super, as you want a super for the arc phalanx, the third and final arc shield. There's no more arc shields in this. The Thunder Crash super works out decent in this run because it's useful, because it can one-shot champions, almost. It doesn't outright one-shot them, but it gets them finishable. With this final Blight. Just over halfway to a surplus, that's good. You'll see 2 champions has appeared. These are the overlords you cannot stop from spawning, they will always spawn. Okay, so this is where I take the overlords from. Essentially, enemies in this game have range drop off. Right? So essentially they can't do anything to you when there's a certain range. So right now these snipers, they should be able to snipe me. This one does. So I'm just showing you, this is probably the range drop off. Just near where that bush is to my right, that's the range drop off for the sniper. So if I go any closer to that, they'll start to snipe me. Now sniper resistance saved me there. Nice. But all you really want to do is take the 2 overloads from distance. The reason why is because you stop the arc phalanx from shooting orbs at you. Right? There's nothing worse. You're trying to damage an enemy and he just keeps throwing those orbs at you. To eliminate all that, just take the 2 overloads from distance, like here. Really easy to do with an explosive payload bow. If you don't have a kinetic explosive payload bow, then you'd maybe have to switch up to an energy one that you have explosive on. A Vorpal one would do you. Point of the Stag is really good. It's Iron Banner. You can pick it up from collections like in 2 minutes, as long as you've already obtained it in the past. Arsenic Bite is very good. Tyranny of Heaven with Solar Explosive, that's really good. Void Imperial Needle with Frenzy, very good. Wolf Tone Draw with Frenzy, very good. But other than that, those are the main bows you want. Vorpal bows work as well. Can't mind the name of that bow, but a couple that have Vorpal. The kinetic one from Season of Arrivals. There's lots of bows, but ultimately you do want an explosive one, because an explosive one will do work for you on champs, and it will also do work for you on standard red bar ads. Right, the stagger damage from explosive. Okay, so we've dealt with the unstoppables. Shoot the orb. Use your super on the phalanx. You don't need a direct hit, it'll still die. And then just fill up on ammo. We're max on heavy, special, really good. That's because fusion rifle scavenger works for both weapons, because it's fusion rifle linear and standard fusion. So that's really good that it's working for both weapons that way. Okay, this is again, I shouldn't have sort of pushed up so hard with that. That's fine though. Effective light saves us. If anything, I'm demonstrating how easy it is to survive in GMs when you've got protective light going. And I can just get it back with the shield break. We'll just wait for this knight. He's confused, I don't know why. We'll get our shield break. He's blinded. This is the biggest thing, because those can almost one-shot you, those taken walls. That the their attack. Being able to just blind a knight like that is insane in this. Not a knight, sorry, a captain, but the knights get blinded as well because they're solar shielded. We done a death from above ability. I forget what it's called in this game. I just call it death from above because that's where I remember it from as from D1. But we use that to get super ability energy because the more kills you get with that, the more super you get, which is handy. Handy just having a super. Anytime you get one, it's handy having it on a crash. Be very careful with this section on the two knights because, as I say, if both of those knights hit you with that attack, that can be, you know, you can die at that and then you have to restart the whole run. So get the blind first and then you can approach the knight. You can stand at the top of the stairs or you can stand on a box to my right. Up to you, really. But just know that when you get this knight pushed, I've never seen him do that. He always learns things, so he pushes sometimes, so just be aware of that as well. Watch the boot wall to my left. I timed it there so the boot wall didn't hit me while we deal with this knight. 2 shots, usually do 2 shots of Jotunn, then finish off with a bow. I'm not trolling with this weapon, me using this loadout. It actually is really good. It's good for knights, it puts out decent damage. It's kind of weird how it works with particle deconstruction. It doesn't work like any other fusion because it's not what it is. The standard fusions have bolts and each bolt's classed as a hit, meaning you can get 5 times stacks with particle deconstruction in one shot. With Jotunn, it's classed as 1 stack, so that's the downfall to Jotunn. But to be fair though, standard fusions shouldn't be stacking 5 times on 1 shot. That just shouldn't be a thing. They should be stacking 1 charge, make it fair like anything else, make it like Sleeper, 1 stack, and that's it. Well, actually Sleeper's slightly different as it's 3 stacks. Apparently there's only 3 stacks of particle for Jotunn, for Sleeper. Apparently that's what I heard. So why they're making obtuse sort of decisions like that and not stating it anywhere in the game, you know, they make these mechanics but they don't tell you anywhere. Like, that to me is just a little bit are they just expecting people just to test that all the time? It's fine people testing stuff, and I know people make content on that and they get a lot of support from that, and it's good work that they do, but really now, why is there no information on tooltips telling you exactly what percentage of damage increase you get from supers? What does Cuirass of Star, how much is the damage buff for that? What is the damage buff of, you know, all the debuffs? What's particle deconstruction? It says debuffs enemies. By how much? Charge with light. How much is it? I know how much it is, but it doesn't tell you anywhere in the game how much it is. Right? And it needs to come to a point where, right, they need to actually put proper descriptions of all their stuffs, buffs, debuffs, boosts to certain weapons, what's the damage buff on them. We shouldn't be having to test all these weapons constantly, right? This isn't a beta, it isn't an alpha, it's a fully fledged game, right, that you pay $60, £60 on whatever you pay, right? It should be in the game. End of discussion. We shouldn't have to be constantly testing all this stuff, right? What does this do? What does that do? That's fine playing and, you know, experimenting, but they should really tell you in game, right, this is what this perk does. This is your number on the perk. That is it. Shouldn't have to be, as I say, spending several hours in lost sectors testing stuff. And if they want us to test stuff, then give us a tribute haul back then. If they're going to do that, we need a tribute haul to test damage. Like, properly. We shouldn't be going on to Nessus lost sector testing it, because lost sectors aren't intended for that. Lost sectors are just lost sectors. That's all they are. They're not meant to be for tests. Okay, so we're just playing from distance. You'll see Jotunn here using its range. As I said, it's tracking, no range. You can take the knight comfortably from this location. He's less likely to teleport the further you are away. The closer you are to him, the more likely he'll teleport from the shot. But he can still teleport, as you can see. We'll finish the knight off with some heavy. I'm sort of managing my ammo. I don't want to just keep spamming Telesto too much. Telesto, Jotunn, sorry. With the Scion phase, it's weird how these enemies work as well. As the less number of Scions there is, the more likely they will retreat. If there's a bunch of Scion copies, they're more likely they will push you and could almost wipe you with one melee. So you really need to sort of respect Scions and don't push them too tough. Like, use nades, try not to go in there with melees, things like that. As I say, they can wipe your run before you know it. There's a Scion on the bridge that I forgot, but we found a new angle for that. Or I ended up doing a new angle. Decent taking from here. As long as there's cover to your right or left, no matter what you're doing in this game, you're dealing with overlords. As long as there's cover right and left, you're good. Especially with goblins. With minotaurs, it's different. Overlord minotaurs are different because they teleport, and if you're within like a 20 meter, 10 meter radius, they will be aggroed on you and teleport. Right? Just depends on which, you know, Nightfall you're talking about. But these ones, the taken overlords are different. They're stationary, right? They don't push you really. They will try to, if you get so close to them, like if you're really close to them, they will push. They also have an enrage mechanic. If you deal damage to an overlord taken goblin, they will enrage, and their enrage attack can kill you in like less than a second. What I was doing here was doing some damage to the unstoppable around this corner, because I know if the goblin enrages, which he's gonna, that's fine, because we have plenty of cover. There's a pillar in front of us, there's a pillar to our right, we can strafe all that stuff. There's another angle that I do this as well, but I just, for this run for some reason I do it from here. That's the unstoppable taken out. We'll deal with the overlord. When the overlord's on his own, they really are a cinch to deal with. Right? It's just a case of strafing. So there's cover to my left. Right? So just they'll try to snipe you. You can defuse their snipe by just strafing. Because we're just using their AI against them essentially. Because anytime you hide the cover, they're going to be smart enough to know that you're in cover, and they're going to stop from sniping you. Right? Rather than coming around. I would like to see some champions maybe, you know, actually push you, jump to certain locations that you know, say you've got a higher ground, let them jump to you, let them do things like that. But we need more mods to deal with champions. If they're gonna, you know, up the AI on them, right, that's fine, do it. I would love them to do it, but we need more ways of dealing with them. Like, my idea would be, have all your supers, have all super be anti-champion no matter what. Right, so that's got everything built into it. Unstoppable, barrier, overload, all of it. When you use a super, you actually stun a champion. Or make a mod. Right, because we keep getting grenades and melees for stunning champions, but never a super. A super should be able to bypass champions. I think that's what, you know, your super is your super. I know there's some builds where you have so much super energy, you know, so some classes might need to be tuned down because of that. But that would be a good way of allowing you to not have to use, say, a bow in a Nightfall. Or maybe not use barrier. Maybe you just rely on your super, or, you know, have anti-barrier grenades. We haven't had that. They just need to start doing more stuff like that, rather than, you know, anti-barrier auto rifle. It's the dullest mod. Now, we've had it so many seasons. If someone actually counted how many times we've had anti-barrier auto rifle, I bet you it's a lot. Unstoppable sidearm. How many times have we had unstoppable sidearm? How many times do we really want to play with that mod? We don't want to play with that mod. Only on Devil's Ruin is it fun. So, like I said, they need to come up with new ideas of how to stun champions, and we need permanent mods for champions in the game that are around all the time. You can access them, whether it be September, January, February, it doesn't matter when it is. You'll accept, use these mods. Anti-barrier scout should be up all the time. Overload hand cannon up all the time. And let people play with what they want to play with, because the thing is, you let people play with what they want to play with, they're not going to stop playing the game. It's actually the reverse thing. The game's going to be more fun to them, and they're going to keep playing. They're going to be, oh, this game's great, I want to keep playing. I can use a weapon. I can use Fatebringer all the time. Right, I'm playing all the time. Right, but they're Bungie's sort of frightened. They think, oh well, if we get everything we want, the meta will be the same, which it will be, you know, to some extent. But at least the game will be fun, right? You know. What we're trying to do here is take out the Solar Knight. The best advice for you is to try and stun the Overlord if you can, and then get a blind on the Knight. But if the Knight is spread out from the champ, like so, just use Jotunn as much as possible. He avoided my shot there, which was unfortunate. But we get a stun first. It's important to stop the champion from enraging, because Jotunn will make the champ enrage. Then we get the Knight. But as soon as you reveal your location, the Knight will spam that location. So you need to strafe left and right of pillars. There's a pillar on the stairs, there's a pillar at the bottom of the stairs, there's cover around the side. There's a lot of options to choose. Just know with this Overlord champion though, sometimes he can go up the stairs. If he does, either reset the champ by running out of the exit, where we come in at, the entrance, sorry. The champion will reset and you can take him from here. Or you can take him from the balcony, just the handrails getting in the way of overloading champ. See all the handrails all over? Well, they actually a cover for the champions. It's actually kind of silly, to be honest. It's a silly mechanic. As soon as you come up these stairs, when you get this Knight, you need to spam Jotunn as much as possible. The quicker you do that, the less likely the champ will do solar on you, the solar flames, making that part really easy to deal with. It can be difficult once you get a goblin tethering a champ, tethering the Knight. It makes it difficult. Doing that, in quick succession, you can spawn kill him essentially. This room isn't too bad. It can be tough if you haven't got a server, things like that, because the solar wizard can really do damage to you. And I haven't got solar resistance on this run, and you'll tell a couple of times Knights are, you know, breaking my shields often. So it really pays to have a solar fallen star. And if you do have one, or if you've got multiple fallen stars, make one of them solar. Which I will do that when I get another fallen star, like a good one that I want to use in terms of stat rolls, and I'll make it solar. And then I'll have a void one as well. Okay, so we'll wait for the wizard to reveal himself, break the shield, then use your super. You've got to break that shield first. Be careful of this wall. Sometimes it blasts twice in succession. I don't know, there's something with it where sometimes it can just kill you and boot you into that wall. I've had it happen to me. Best way is just to sort of stay close to the exit and then run as soon as it's going to blast. We'll find a bit of super energy off these Thrall by using a melee. The Thrall are fine, right? The Scions are really powerful, but the Thrall, they're not that dangerous. So if you want to use your Death from Above melee ability on them, then go ahead, you'll get some super energy. It will help you if you have a super at the boss, because I'm going to explain, right, or try to, because no one really has talked about this. Nightfalls have a day and night cycle. Yeah. So just let's think of any other games. Like, say you play Grand Theft Auto. I'm sure you've played Grand Theft Auto, right? It has a day and night cycle. You can be driving at night or the morning or the day or whatever. Well, in Destiny, the same thing is happening. You load up a strike, right? It can start at day and end up at night time, right? It's an actual thing. Now, the reason why I say this is because if you have the nighttime cycle at the boss, you will struggle to do the boss exploit, because you can't see a thing, man. Your jumps are just so difficult to get the jumps right if it's night cycle. If it's day cycle, you're not so bad. But that's another reason why we're on Coiling Missile. It makes the jumps easier that you need to perform. But yeah, the game has a day and night cycle. You'll notice it in certain strikes, you can't see a damn thing, right? Inverted Spire calls to mind. I can't think of any others. Arms Dealer might have a day and night type thing going on. So there's a couple of them, but yeah, they have a cycle, right? But just know if you've got the night cycle, you're really going to struggle, and you're best off just using a super to do the exploit. If you haven't seen the exploit, if you don't know what I'm going about, you're going to see it in a minute. But this will be platinum run, even though we are exploiting. We're just exploiting for the boss, which it's Lake of Shadows. I mean, no one has any pride on Lake of Shadows. I mean, come on, it's like the easiest GM in the game. So I'm not really going to push myself about, you know, getting a no cheese run. I will do maybe when I'm bored at the end of the season. But right now, I'm not bored enough to do that. I've got other things to do. I like farming trials, which is tomorrow. There's certain weapons I want to farm in Prophecy. So I've got other stuff to do, you know. So I'm not really fussed about doing a really amazing run on Lake. It's just all about to get an easy clear out. That's all it is. We've got some heavy to drop, so we'll use a bit of heavy on this champ. If you're going to do some heavy or special on the champ, on overlords especially, only do 1 or 2 shots. If you overcommit to damage, you can end up missing an overload shot with your bow. The champion will then enrage, and then you'll lose all the damage that you've dealt. My strafing wasn't quite on time in there, that's fine. The protective light saves us. Now, when the enemies spawn, you can take the Solar Knight from up here. Really handy to do. Just wait for the Solar Knight to show himself outside the Blight. Do some Jotunn to blind him. You'll then retreat, and then you'll just keep doing it. It's just I'm just showing you a safe way of doing it. That's all this is. I could have just went down there and, you know, melted him from down below, but it doesn't really matter. 2 for all to take. We have super as well. It's day cycle, as you can see, so the jumps are going to be easy for me, although I do still fail them for whatever reason why. But on my Warlock run I show you exactly how to do the jump, but as this is a tight video anyways, so you're going to see how to sort of do the jump. Take the Blight first, which you can stand on top of them, as you saw me do that with the initial Blights. You don't take any damage. Have your character in the direction you're going to run, right? Little things like that. Every second counts, because the boss is spawning in right now. You want to jump up to this block, jump on this pipe, make you jump round to the ledge, and then do a barricade. Do a barricade to stop the boss from hitting you, because he can hit you up here. And then what I'm trying to do is mantle onto this cliff area, but for a reason on the Titan I was struggling. On a Warlock I could easily do it. So I just suggest us doing this. Jump to the right, use your super, and you're here. And then it's at this point your run's done. Just be careful of the Solar Knights. There's a couple of people mentioned about it. Okay, so what can hit you from up here? The boss can kind of hit you, but not so much. Certain Scions can hit you from up here, and the Knights can hit you with the solar damage and wipe your run. Right, it nearly happened to me on this run, but what you need to do is confuse the Knight. So if he's hitting you at say halfway across this platform, like so, then move to the right. So I seen he was hitting me, move to the right, he'll stop hitting you. In the end though, I ended up taking him out with Jotunn, just in case, as I saw that close call. Which you can do that with Jotunn very easy, like so, blind them. If you jump up too far as well, you can get Join Allies, that's fine, it's a timer, just make sure you don't jump too high or something. If you get Join Allies, you will spawn back at the bottom of the map, and you'll be screwed more than likely because there's a ton of ads. As you can see, we can just do damage from here, so we'll use a bit of Jotunn ammo. Because Jotunn has unstoppable in it, it has unstoppable traits on bosses or any ads. It can stop them from doing certain things, like this boss he'll shield. But if you use Jotunn, as long as you get your unstoppable rounds procced, it will actually stagger the boss, which then you can follow up with some heavy linear shots, you see. There's a lot of things you can sort of do with it. It doesn't work out as good as the Outbreak run that I've done, because that was just really good because it's infinite primary ammo. You can do a lot of damage that way, but this run works out really good for like dealing with knights. As I said, it's probably the best weapon for dealing with knights. It's got tracking, it's solar, it blinds on shield break. What more could you want? The only thing I would say about it is it needs more reserves. I think 17 is a bit, maybe 20, 22, and then we're looking at, you know, if they did do that, a lot more people would use it, because it is really good. A lot of people use it in PvP, but it is really good in PvE as well. Just be careful, the boss can tether you from up here. Just don't jump. At this point, don't be jumping around, because as I say, the boss actually can tether you from up top. And what happens is that suppresses you, so you can't jump. Right? Or really run and things. Or super, any abilities. Just like what a normal tether would do to an enemy. I believe there was an old Triumph where you needed to shoot down tethers, 3 tethers, and then kill the boss. I don't know if that's still in the game, but this would be a good way of doing it actually. Because you could tether you there, you shoot it down, you have to do it 3 times. That used to be in the game, I don't know if it's still there. Okay, so we're just taking out some of these goblins. The goblins can make obviously the boss immune. And we're close to super as well. So I'm out of heavy, 1 special ammo shot left. Boss is going through his final phase type thing. Taking out these sounds for super, because we're going to finish the boss off essentially with our super. It looks more dangerous than what it is, but obviously on impact you'll get that overshield, so you'll survive. As long as you sort of kill the boss with your super, then you won't lose the run or something. I just wasn't sure how much damage Thunder Crash would actually do to this boss. I wasn't 100%. I mean, you might kill him at 20%, 30%. I don't know how much damage it actually does on this on GM level. Pretty close to our super now. Boss is literally 1 shot. Hit him with a nade, and we use our super. But anyways, that was the solo GM with the Titan Platinum rank. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.